Hi, everyone. Welcome to Simple Spoken English today. Let's dive into an inspiring story about learning English. Meet Emma, a passionate student of English literature from Toronto, Canada. She once struggled with the language, just like many of us. Today, she shares her journey with her friend Ryan, who is facing similar challenges. Let's listen to their conversation and see how Emma overcame her struggles. Introduction and initial struggles. Emma. Hi. My name is Emma, and I used to struggle a lot with learning English. Can you believe it? A student of English literature, yet I found it incredibly difficult. It was frustrating. Ryan. Oh, wow. That sounds just like me. Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm Ryan, and honestly, I'm struggling a lot with English, especially speaking fluently. It feels impossible sometimes. How did you manage to overcome your struggles? Emma. I totally understand how you feel, Ryan. I've been there. When I first started studying English literature, I was fascinated by the language, the way it sounded, the beauty of the words, but at the same time it felt overwhelming. Accents, vast vocabulary, confusing grammar rules. It all seemed too much. I remember feeling so lost and doubting myself. Ryan. That's exactly how I feel. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever be fluent. How did you even start improving? Emma. The first step? I had to surround myself with English, completely. I started listening to English podcasts and watching movies with subtitles. At first, it felt like I was drowning in words I didn't understand. But slowly, things started making sense. I still remember the first time I watched an entire movie without subtitles. It was such a huge achievement. I was so proud of myself. Ryan. That's incredible. I listen to English podcasts too, but honestly, I still find it really hard to follow sometimes. Emma. Of course. That's completely normal. Learning a new language takes time, and you have to be patient with yourself. But you know what helped me? Repeating what I heard. I'd pause the podcast or movie and try to mimic the speaker's pronunciation and tone. It felt awkward at first, talking to myself in front of the mirror, but it worked. My pronunciation improved and I became more confident. I even practiced lines from my favorite TV shows, trying to match the actors' expressions and intonations. Ryan. That actually makes a lot of sense. Did you practice speaking with others too? Emma. Yes. And let me tell you, it was nerve-wracking at first. But it made a huge difference. I joined a language exchange program where I got to talk to native English speakers. At first, I was terrified. What if they laughed at my mistakes? But you know what? They didn't. They were super supportive and even helped me correct my errors. It was amazing practice. Ryan. That sounds really helpful. But honestly, I feel shy about speaking with native speakers. What if I make mistakes? It's so embarrassing. Emma. Ryan, I totally get it. I used to feel the same way. But here's the thing. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Native speakers actually appreciate it when someone makes the effort to learn their language, and you don't have to start with deep conversations. I began with small talk, talking about the weather, hobbies, or daily routines. Once I got comfortable, I moved on to more complex topics. Also, practicing with other learners first helped me build confidence before speaking with native speakers. Ryan. That sounds like a good strategy. But my biggest problem is vocabulary. I always forget new words. Emma. Oh, I struggled with that too, but I found a trick. Flashcards. I'd write a new word on one side and its meaning, along with an example sentence on the other. I'd review them regularly, and it really helped. Also, instead of just memorizing words randomly, I started reading books and articles on topics that interested me. This made learning new words fun and relevant. I even kept a vocabulary journal where I wrote down new words I encountered and reviewed them later. Ryan. Flashcards sound like a great idea. I think I'll try that. What about grammar? That's another big struggle for me. Emma. Ugh, grammar was a nightmare. So many rules, so many exceptions, but I tackled it step by step. I set aside time each day to focus on different grammar topics. I'd write sentences using the new rules I learned and took quizzes on grammar apps. One of my best resources was a grammar workbook. It had exercises and clear explanations, which really helped solidify my understanding. Ryan. Wow, it seems like you had a well-structured plan. I usually just study randomly, and maybe that's why I don't see much progress. Emma. Exactly. Having a plan makes a huge difference. I set small, achievable goals every week, learning a few new words, practicing a specific grammar rule, or having a 5-minute conversation in English. These small wins kept me motivated. Ryan. That's really inspiring, but tell me, how long did it take you to become fluent? Emma. Ah, the golden question. It took me a couple of years of consistent effort. But remember, everyone learns at their own pace. Don't compare yourself to others. Some people learn faster, some slower. That's totally okay. The key is to keep going and not let setbacks discourage you. There were times I felt like I wasn't making progress at all, but looking back, I realize how far I've come. Ryan. That makes me feel so much better. Thank you for sharing your experience, Emma. I feel much more motivated now and have a clearer idea of how to approach my learning. Emma. That's amazing to hear, Ryan. Remember, persistence is key. Keep practicing and you'll see progress over time. And hey, if you ever need support or just want to practice, reach out to me anytime. Ryan. I will. Thanks again, Emma. Your story has really given me hope. Emma. I'm so happy to hear that. Good luck with your studies, and most importantly, enjoy the journey of learning English. In this part, Emma dives deeper into the specific strategies she used to improve her fluency. She shares practical tips that helped her overcome challenges, stay motivated, and master English. Let's listen to her conversation with her Ryan. Part 2. Strategies for Improving Fluency. Ryan. Emma, before we wrap up, can you share some specific strategies that helped you improve your speaking fluency? Emma. Oh, absolutely. One of the best techniques I used was shadowing. Have you heard of it? Ryan. Shadowing? No, what's that? Emma. It's an amazing method. Basically, you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat what they say as closely as possible, matching their pronunciation, tone, and rhythm. I did this with YouTube videos, TED Talks, and even news broadcasts. It made a huge difference in my fluency. Ryan. That sounds really interesting. How often did you practice shadowing? Emma. Every single day. I made it a habit to practice shadowing for at least 30 minutes daily. Consistency is key. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, I noticed a big improvement in my pronunciation and speaking rhythm. Ryan. That makes sense. What about writing? Did you have any specific techniques for improving that? Emma. Oh, yes. Writing is just as important as speaking. I kept a daily journal where I wrote about my day, my thoughts, and even my dreams. In English, of course. It helped me express myself better and think in English. Plus, I joined an online writing community where I could share my work and get feedback. That was really helpful, too. Ryan. A daily journal sounds like a great idea. I think I'll start doing that. But tell me, did you ever feel discouraged during your learning process? Emma. Many times. There were moments when I felt like I wasn't improving at all, and I even thought about giving up. But I reminded myself why I started learning English in the first place. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't do yet, I celebrated small victories, like learning a new phrase or successfully having a short conversation. These little wins kept me motivated. Staying motivated and setting goals. Ryan, that's really inspiring. But how did you stay motivated in the long run? Learning a language takes so much time. Emma, I know, right? But setting realistic goals helped a lot. Instead of thinking, I want to be fluent, which is too broad, I broke it down into smaller goals, like learning 5 new words a day or practicing speaking for 10 minutes with a friend. Tracking my progress made the journey feel more rewarding. Ryan. That's a great approach. I'll try setting small goals too. Also, you mentioned learning with a community earlier. Did that really help? Emma. Yes. Connecting with other learners was a game changer for me. I joined an English learning group where we supported each other, shared resources, and even practiced conversations together. When you're surrounded by people on the same journey, it keeps you motivated. Ryan. That makes sense. I think I'll find a community too. Thank you for the tip. Before we go, do you have any final advice for someone like me who's just starting? Emma. Yes. My final advice is this. Be patient and persistent. Learning a language isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. There will be ups and downs, but every little effort brings you closer to fluency. Keep practicing, seek out opportunities to use English, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Ryan. Wow, Emma, your journey is truly inspiring, and your advice is so helpful. I feel way more confident about my learning now. Emma, I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, I'm always here if you need support. Keep going and you'll get there. Ryan, thank you so much. I'll keep you updated on my progress. Have a great day. Emma, you too. Take care and keep practicing. Deep dive into practical tips and techniques. Ryan. Emma, can we go even deeper into practical tips? For example, how did you handle idioms and expressions? They always confuse me. Emma. Oh, idioms can be tricky because they don't always translate literally. I had a special section in my vocabulary journal just for idioms. Every time I encountered a new one, I'd write it down along with its meaning and an example sentence. Practicing them in context helped a lot. Ryan. That's a great idea. Can you give me an example? Emma. Sure. Take break the ice, for example. It means to start a conversation in a social setting. So I wrote a sentence like, he told a joke to break the ice at the meeting. Seeing idioms used in real-life situations helped me remember them better. Ryan. That makes sense. Did you use any online resources for idioms? Emma. Yes. The Cambridge Dictionary and websites like the Idiom Connection were super helpful. They provided detailed explanations and real-life examples. Also, watching TV shows and movies helped me understand how idioms are used in everyday conversations. Ryan. That's really useful. What about phrasal verbs? They confuse me even more than idioms. Emma. Oh, phrasal verbs can be a challenge. Their meanings aren't always obvious from the words alone. I used the same strategy as with idioms. I had a section in my vocabulary journal just for phrasal verbs. Each entry had the phrasal verb, its meaning, and an example sentence. Ryan. That sounds like a great system. Can you give me an example? Emma. Of course. Give up means to stop trying. So I wrote, she didn't give up even when things got tough. Writing them down and using them in my conversations helped a lot. Ryan. Did you make an effort to use new phrasal verbs in conversation? Emma. Yes. I made a conscious effort to use them every day. I also grouped phrasal verbs by the main verb. For example, I made a list of all the phrasal verbs with get, like get along, get by, get over. It helped me remember them better. Ryan. That's a smart idea. I'll start grouping them too. What about pronunciation? English pronunciation can be so tricky. Emma. Oh, pronunciation was one of my biggest challenges, but I found some great techniques to improve it. One effective method was practicing minimal pairs, words that differ by just one sound like ship and sheep. This helped me distinguish between similar sounds and pronounce words more clearly. Ryan. That's interesting. What other pronunciation techniques did you use? Emma. I also recorded myself speaking and compared it to native speakers. It was embarrassing at first, but it helped me hear my mistakes and improve. Plus, I used tongue twisters. They're great for training your mouth to move correctly when speaking English. Ryan. Tongue twisters? Like what? Emma. Try this one. She sells seashells by the seashore. It helps with the sh and s sounds. Practicing tongue twisters made my pronunciation much clearer. Ryan. That's amazing. I never realized how many techniques I could use to improve. Thank you, Emma. You've given me so many ideas. Emma. I'm so happy to hear that, Ryan. Remember, keep practicing, and you'll see improvement over time. Enjoy the journey. Ryan. Before we go, can you share some specific strategies that helped you improve your speaking fluency? Emma. Sure. One technique that worked really well for me was shadowing. It involves listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say as closely as possible. I practiced with YouTube videos, TED Talks, and even news broadcasts. This helped me improve my pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Ryan. That sounds interesting. How often did you practice shadowing? Emma. I aim for at least 30 minutes a day. Consistency is key, and daily practice helped me build a strong habit. Over time, I noticed a significant improvement in my speaking fluency. Improving writing skills. Ryan. That makes sense. Did you have any specific techniques for improving your writing skills? Emma. Yes. I kept a daily journal where I wrote about my day, thoughts, and feelings in English. This helped me express myself more fluently. I also joined an online writing community where I shared my work and received feedback. Ryan. A daily journal sounds like a great idea. Did you ever feel discouraged in your learning journey? Emma. Many times. There were moments when I felt stuck or doubted my progress, but I reminded myself why I started learning English and celebrated even small victories. Staying positive and acknowledging progress kept me motivated. Ryan. How did you stay motivated over the long term? Emma. Setting realistic goals and tracking my progress helped a lot. I also connected with other learners who were on the same journey. We encouraged each other and shared tips. Finding a community makes a big difference. Ryan. I'll try to find a learning community too. Any final advice for beginners like me? Emma. Stay patient and persistent. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs, but every effort brings you closer to fluency. Keep practicing, seek opportunities to use the language, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Ryan. Thank you, Emma. Your journey is inspiring, and your advice is really helpful. I feel more confident now. Emma. I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, I'm always here if you need support. Good luck and happy learning. Ryan. Thanks, Emma. I'll keep you updated on my progress. Have a great day. Emma. You too? Take care and keep practicing. Ryan. Emma, can we explore some practical tips? For example, how did you handle idioms and expressions? They often confuse me. Emma. Idioms can be tricky. I created a special section in my vocabulary journal just for idioms. Whenever I learned a new one, I wrote it down with its meaning and an example sentence. For example, break the ice means to start a conversation in a social setting. I would use it in a sentence like, he told a joke to break the ice at the meeting. Ryan. That's a great idea. Did you use any online resources for idioms? Emma. Yes. I used websites like the Idiom Connection and the Cambridge Dictionary. They provide detailed explanations and examples. Watching TV shows and movies also help me understand idioms in real-life conversations. Ryan. What about phrasal verbs? They can be confusing too. Emma. Phrasal verbs are tricky because their meanings aren't always obvious. I used the same strategy as idioms. I kept a vocabulary journal just for phrasal verbs. For example, give up means to stop trying. I wrote, she didn't give up even when things got tough. I also grouped phrasal verbs by the main verb. For instance, get along, get by, get over. Take off, take up, take in. Ryan. That makes sense. Did you practice using them in conversations? Emma. Absolutely. I made a conscious effort to use new phrasal verbs in daily conversations. This helped reinforce their meanings and made them feel more natural. Pronunciation tips. Ryan. English pronunciation can be challenging with all its exceptions. What strategies helped you? Emma. I used several techniques. 1. Minimal pairs. Practicing similar-sounding words like ship and sheep helped me differentiate tricky sounds. 2. Recording myself. Comparing my pronunciation with native speakers helped me find areas for improvement. 3. Tongue twisters. These improved my articulation and speaking speed. Ryan. Recording myself sounds like a great idea. Did you take any pronunciation classes? Emma. Yes. Attending pronunciation workshops helped me get personalized feedback and practice without fear of judgment. Improving listening skills. Ryan. Sometimes native speakers talk too fast. How did you improve your listening skills? Emma. I started with slower content, like beginner podcasts and audiobooks, then gradually moved to faster speech. I also used the playback speed feature on video platforms. Slowing down the audio helped me catch every word. Ryan. That's a good tip. Did you use any specific techniques while listening? Emma. Yes. Active listening helped a lot. Instead of passively listening, I took notes on key points and new vocabulary, summarized what I heard in my own words, tried to predict what the speaker would say next. Ryan. How did you handle different accents? Emma. Exposure to various accents was crucial. I listened to content from the UK, US, Australia, and Canada to get used to different pronunciations. Ryan. Did you find any particular accent more challenging? Emma. At first, British accents were tough because of their unique vowel sounds, but with practice, watching British TV shows and listening to British radio, I got comfortable. Improving reading skills. Ryan. Did you have any special strategies for reading? Emma. Yes, I used 1. Skimming and scanning to quickly find main ideas and details. 2. Annotating, highlighting key points and making notes in the margins. 3. Reading aloud to improve pronunciation and rhythm. Ryan. Did you read specific types of books? Emma. I read fiction, nonfiction, newspapers, and academic journals to get exposed to different writing styles. Joining a book club also helped. It made reading more interactive. Managing time and avoiding burnout. Ryan. How did you balance reading with other language activities? Emma. I created a weekly schedule that included reading, listening, speaking, and writing. I integrated English into my daily routine, reading during commutes, listening to podcasts while exercising, and journaling before bed. Ryan. How did you stay consistent without burning out? Emma. Variety kept things interesting. I mixed different activities, took regular breaks, and celebrated small wins. Keeping my end goal in mind helped me stay focused. Final motivation for English learners. Here are some motivational reminders for your journey. Every word you speak brings you one step closer to fluency. Mistakes are proof that you're learning. Fluency is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process. Confidence comes from practice, so speak boldly. Your hard work will pay off. Keep going. Ryan. Thank you, Emma. This was really inspiring. Emma. You're welcome. Keep practicing and enjoy.